Hi, second grade. So today we are finishing up our chapter 14 on what communities share. So let's do a quick review from yesterday's lesson. So we saw a map of the United States of America and how all these states are different communities. 50 states make up our United States. Here's where we live in Illinois, and here's our little community of Schaumburg, probably like right there. And then we went on to see another map, and we learned that foods come from different places around the country. Like fish comes from oceans, so states that are near water produce seafood. Beef comes from communities with lots of grass for cows to eat. Oranges come from a region that is warm all year round, like Florida. No community in our country produces everything it needs to live. So people move food and other goods from where it's produced, where it's made, to where people need and want it. So here's where all these things are produced. But let's say we want oranges, but they're manufactured in Florida. The people who make them have to try and get them from Florida to where we are, or from Florida to New York, or from Florida to Washington. Okay, so we're going to continue talking about what communities share. Communities also share their special places. Every community has special places. Some communities have pretty beaches, some have big cities. Others have quiet forests. People who travel to other communities are called tourists. They go to see new places. They also go to meet new people. Which communities in our country have you visited? Like I know there's Mount Rushmore, like we said before, New York has the Statue of Liberty, there's the Golden Gate Bridge. So different states have different landmarks that people like to go visit because it's part of history or it's because it's beautiful, like the Grand Canyon. So communities share their landmarks with other people. Communities share happy and sad times. So peoples in communities like to share their happy times. They have festivals, parades, and games. They invite people from far away to enjoy these events with them. Some of these might be like when you have the 4th of July Day Parade or the St. Patrick's Day Parade, where a lot of people come together and celebrate a tradition or a holiday or something like that. It's really nice to be able to celebrate within your community. You can celebrate just your innermost circle, your family. You can celebrate with your town. You can celebrate with your whole state. If it's a statewide thing that everyone is trying to come together and work together. Or it could be something that is celebrated around the entire United States that everyone wants to celebrate. Communities also have sad times. A flood or a tornado or an earthquake might hit a community. Then the community asks others for help. So that's going on right now with the COVID-19. Illinois is working together. Our communities are working together to make sure everyone is safe and healthy. The state is providing free masks to people. They're trying to keep each other safe by social distancing. And it's very important that our community works together and we all follow the rules in order to stay safe. So people, so there's happy times, there's sad times, and we like to come together as a community to either mourn together or to celebrate together. People all over the country send food, clothing, and money to help those in need, which is very nice. And like I said, we're seeing that right now with the coronavirus and everyone's coming together with their communities. It's a sad time, but it's also a time where people are trying to come together. People are putting nice messages on the sidewalk or putting awesome messages on their in their windows, and they're trying to be positive for each other. So this is hard for everyone. So let's come together and make it work. Communities also share their pride. People in communities share their pride in our country. They fly the American flag. They say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. They sing songs about our country and our history. They care for our historic buildings, statues, and parks. How do you show pride in the United States? So there's many different examples of how we show pride in the United States. We say the pledge. We show Bobcat pride at our school, right? So you can show pride in all the various communities that you live in. So to conclude, in summary, communities share things people need and want. Some share food, others share goods. Goods are materials like items other than food. It could be computers, it could be toasters, it could be furniture, it could be cars, whatever the case may be. Many share their special places. They share their landmarks with us, the beautiful places that they have in their states. They share their happy times, and they help each other in sad times. People and communities share their pride in our country. And this is really important for all the different groups that we belong in. So we have various communities that we belong to. We have our family community, we have our communities that we live in, we have our state, we have our friends, because that can be considered our a community that we live in, our church community, our countries. So here's just some of the examples that some other communities can share. So families can share in love, they share birthdays, they celebrate traditions, and they share connections with each other, whether it be through blood or that they live together or other connections that they have. Communities are like our community of Schaumburg, for example. They share schools and parks and restaurants and farmers markets, libraries. Those are things that we all share together, so we have to work together to make them nice. Countries, they share holidays that are worldwide, like Thanksgiving. Traditions, like we were talking about, goods and services, like we just talked about, with people producing things and sending them out to other states that need them. People visiting different landmarks in different states. Friends, they share similarities. You probably are friends with someone because you guys have things in common. You guys support each other. You guys have good conversations, and I'm sure you guys share lots of laughs. So these are some things that friends might share. And then we have states. States, they have laws that we share. They have traditions. They have history that are just important to that state. So these are just a few examples of some ways that these different communities can share. So what I want you to do is to give an example of what each of your groups share. So think about your family or your community. I gave an example of our country, the United States of America. One thing that we share is Thanksgiving, because it's a worldwide thing, how the Pilgrims and the Indians came together and made this friendship. They help each other out, and now we continue that tradition of giving thanks and being friendly, and we call that Thanksgiving. And most people celebrate that across the country. So go just give some other examples. Give one more example of how you think your country shares things, how your family shares things, how you and your friends share things, how your community shares, and how your state shares. And think back in our lesson about not just if you share pens or pencils, or if you share notebooks, but dig a little deeper and think about your traditions. Think about the history. Think about when you're thinking about your family, thinking about family traditions. What's important to your family that you guys share, that you celebrate together? I'm looking forward to see what you guys all have to say.